Stand for the flag salute, please. Dennis, will you lead us tonight, please?
I will.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dennis. Tammy, will you take us through roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Those present are Mayor Shaw, Council Members Baker, Johnson, Armbruster, Kemp, and McVeigh. Staff present is myself, Tammy Justice, Bill Cameron, Ron Gibson, Adam Lyons, Rainier, Durand, and Mike Brooks. All right, and I don't think we have any absences. Well, Jim Gibson is excused absence.
Thank you. Look for approval of agenda, council.
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, council. I would ask somebody to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda to include December 27, 2022 claim vouchers 7563 to 7573 for EFTs in the amount of $25,931.49, which were certified and approved December 27, 2022, December 13, 2022 meeting minutes, and claim vouchers 7600 through 7606, and 7619 through 7630, and 2 EFTs in the amount of $71,718.70, and December payroll in the amount of $30,259.23, which have been verified and audited by the audit committee.
Second. Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, council. Now moving to public comment, where opportunity for somebody in the public to take 3 minutes and address the council. So, Robbie?
Okay, well, first off, I want to say that the new parking lot looks awesome. It looks absolutely beautiful over there. I drove by earlier today and it looks wonderful. But I do want to talk a little bit about the bioswale and the retention pond, because planting of those is essential to filtration of the pollutions and toxins that run off of the parking lot into those. The plants themselves are way more efficient eliminating those toxins and pollutions before they get into the soil and degrade the soil and then go into the groundwater and thus the recharge area for the aquifers. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that tonight. Also, the planting also creates many areas where you can have birds and butterflies and bees, which are essential to the pollination around here, the latter two of which are stressed in our area. So providing those little environmental areas is important for that. And also the aesthetics makes it look way prettier if you plant a rain garden in it. So I have some literature for you all that talks about the bioswales, and also has some pictures. Also has some pictures of what rain gardens look like, and gives you a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. I spoke with an ex-colleague of mine that works for WSU. They used to have a program for rain gardens that is no longer funded, but she did tell me that she would look for resources for that sort of thing. So this just gives the city an opportunity to show that they care about those environmental issues, mainly the pollution that goes into the groundwater and the aquifers. And then secondly, those pollinators, if you create that little mini environment there, and also makes the city look a little bit more beautiful with the gardens.
Thank you. Okay, Linda?
We're going to be having a program from Timberland Library at the Senior Center, And they'll be reading to students and preschoolers. They'll be coming to the senior center tomorrow to see what we have available for space. And then they will be coming, I don't know, once a month?
Once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks. Then we have gotten some grants for emergency preparedness. I haven't discussed this with the board yet. I've sent out an email, but we haven't determined what we'll spend it on until we have a board meeting in a couple weeks. But we got one from the Nisqually tribe, and we got one from Timberland Bank. And John Snaz was out on Wednesday. It was a full house. They were there, standing room only. We served 48 lunches, plus we had about 30 people there.
Nice.
And the fire marshal will be out to examine the building. They were gonna come out last week when John was there. It got canceled, thank goodness. And we have everything ready for him, so we're excited. And there's one other thing, and that's not good news. When we had John Snaz's party, I don't know if it was the day before or that day, kids kicked down our sign. And it's a historical sign. We'll be fixing it. I haven't been recorded with Thurston County Sheriff's Office, but they kicked it off the frame. It's from the 1980s. It's been through, you can see there's several pictures there. And we have lights out there and everything now, so I don't understand what happened. We will talk about putting security cameras up on the doorways and all the way around the building. Okay, that's all I have to say. We have a new kitchen crew, Mike Orvitz. He was a director at Salvation Army for 37 years. He's the head of the kitchen now. Victoria Pierce Cooper is working in there along with her sister. But we have a really nice crew and a lot of nice volunteers and a great board. So that's it.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Okay. We'll go around staff reports. Brooks, you want to start? I saw you, in case you have to get
Called out, I might as well get you right now.
I don't know a whole lot. We obviously have a new sheriff.
Yep.
With the department, so there's lots of moving parts and things changing sort of behind the scenes. I'm one of the guys that got promoted, or I will be promoted to lieutenant, so you'll either see myself or Lieutenant Brady here at the meetings. So we're trying to figure out, I guess, sort of our new roles, what we're doing. But I think the service will stay the same. The Deputy Frawley's still here in Rainier. Some of that stuff will remain the same, but you may see a much larger presence on social media about what the sheriff's office is doing, or more of doing than not doing. But there's some changes behind the scenes, and we'll see how all that plays out with time. But really, the nuts and bolts of it, nothing's changed other than some people moving around. So.
Good. Any questions for? Okay, thank you. Rainey?
Nothing much newer than last time I was here. Still working on those abatement projects. We finally got all 5 cars off the property, so that has moved forward. And Tammy has been so gracious to send me a couple more emails this last week. We're working on that trailer fire that happened on Salute 834. Just started the investigation on that yesterday, so hopefully next meeting I'll have some more information for you guys on that as well. That's it for right now. Is there anybody else have questions for me, or?
Questions? Good job, Ray.
Thank you.
Adam?
Next Wednesday, I'm gonna come here and meet with Ron and Charlie. I should probably meet with Tammy too, on the data for the water system plan. So try to keep that moving along. The Meyer Street crosswalk, it's nearly finished. We're waiting for Thurston County to review it and sort of sign off on it. I sent you an email about that. I'm kind of looking for another contact there. You could maybe help us. I'll talk to you later about that.
Okay.
And we also need approval of from WashDOT for the traffic control plan. So we hope to get that out to bid as soon as possible. And then the sports course, I want to talk to you some more about that too, what we talked about last month.
Yeah.
The additive items and the costs. So.
Thank you, Adam. Mr. Adam?
I have a question. Are you in charge of trying to get the counties and the states to lower the speed limits?
Right, yeah.
Okay. You didn't mention that, that's not reason.
Well, I mean, I'm in contact with them. I mean, they did say that they're lowering the speed limit for sure. I've checked in with them again. There's still no word on when that's gonna happen or the extent of it. So I'll let you know when I have details. Yeah. Anything new?
We're just doing it's supposedly gonna happen. We don't know what it's going to be dropped to, and we don't know where they will move this up. Okay, anything else for Adam? Thank you, Adam. Ron?
Hey, glad to be back. Thanks to everyone that really stepped up and helped out. I appreciate it all. While I was gone, I did submit a written report, and if there's any questions other than that, that's all I have at this point.
Are you sharing about the roof? Or is he? You want to share that what you found out about the roof here? And when it's getting done?
Oh, yeah, actually, this room will be put on tomorrow.
Shelley just got a call.
Oh.
It probably won't happen tomorrow.
Oh,
It was. Ron is right. We all thought it was going to start tomorrow, but probably won't start. But just tell them that you got a bid and what you did for us.
well, I received a bid, and then we ended up, Tammy got a better bid, actually, and, made contact with me, and I said, no, sounds great to me, so we saved a lot of money, is what we did. Saved a lot.
And who's doing it?
Clearview Exteriors.
Yeah.
How to be on.
I don't know.
So you'll see a new roof probably going on possibly next week.
Which was very needed. It was from the.
And we
last
talked
2
about in the
years
budget
we-
season.
we patched, and so it was definitely time. So, yeah, great. That was a team effort, but it worked out well.
This can also be asphalt shingle.
I believe so. Yeah, they're, where it was stacked up here.
Yeah.
I think it's up, yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Dennis?
I have nothing. This is, January is an odd month. TRPC doesn't meet until this coming Friday. And so I have nothing to report.
Ron?
Just TPD tomorrow. I always say that seems like, but they always schedule it for the second Wednesday and for the second Tuesday, so one more time tomorrow.
Okay. Tom?
No EOCs in January, but we'll get back on the roll in February. So I think you probably received an email on that one.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that. Other than that, the radio calls went really well, except for me. I was the only late one. But other than that, everybody was on top of it. And so our communication has really improved a lot. So.
Good. Thank you. George?
Well, not to be the disruptive member on the council, but I do have something I would like to be discussed. And I'm going to pass those that way and these this way. Because I'm such an eloquent speaker, I decided to type something out so that I could read it. And I mean this pretty sincerely, actually. As a councilman, it's possible that I don't understand the roles of the city council or the administration in managing our community. I thought that we were here to represent the citizens that live in Rainier. Isn't it our responsibility to look out for the welfare and safety of our citizens as we manage the business of running the city? I'm greatly disappointed that the subject that I requested to be discussed at our next city council meeting is not on our agenda. That subject was the abuse of city property and the possible endangerment of our citizens and children by reckless quad and motorcycle riding on our trail and in our parks. Please review the pictures I've submitted. They really don't do justice to the damage that's been done. No reasonable person would allow or encourage these activities on their private property. When I asked about the situation a while ago, I was told this has been going on for years. We have tried large rocks to block the trails, but they were removed. There really is nothing more we can do. My first thought on that subject was use larger rocks. Why do Yelm, Tenino, and even Bucota not have the same problem? Could it possibly be that they do not tolerate it? My guess is that these same individuals riding motorcycles and quads, tearing up our fields, are the ones doing the vandalism in our community. The Boy Scout book kiosk, the historical senior center sign, stealing the basketballs from the basketball court, the damage at the church, tearing up the soccer fields, and creating ruts along the trail. Soon, it will be rocks thrown through windows and possibly arson, and I have seen this in the inner cities. This is escalating. As their activities seem to be escalating, we need to do something before someone is harmed. Is the book kiosk repairable, or do we just toss it out? I'm willing to repair it or replace it in the honor of the scout who placed it here for our community. One thing I've learned is that all problems can be resolved if people care enough to do the work. And I'm going to quote Edmund Burke. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That's all I have to say. I would hope that there would be a conversation about this at some point and some sort of a resolution. This is our city, and some hoodlums are taking it over, period.
George, who removed the book thing?
Start off, I have no idea.
I don't think it was vandalism that wrecked it.
It was because the door was ripped off at one point.
I think the wind did that. I was by there one afternoon, the latch was not fastened and the door was flopping. And then we had a very serious windstorm that afternoon and evening, and the next day the door was ripped off.
You may be right, Dennis, but somebody sawed it off. I don't know who that was.
Well, they sawed off the thing and took it away, yeah. But I don't think it was vandalism that broke the door.
Okay. Yeah.
But I agree with your problem.
Ron?
I agree, it's something, we need to do more on, but I'm not one to know how to go about fixing it. That's, I think a discussion is great. Maybe we can see if there's some county, sheriff's office can do more for us on that line.
Well, I think the sheriff's department should go investigate this, what's going on down here off of Sunrise.
Tom, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's okay, that's okay.
You got your say.
I agree with George. I mean, I'm around town a lot, looking over things and see a lot of, especially up around Tipsy Loop and stuff. I mean, they're just screaming down the road and around the parks.
Okay, I hear where you're from, Maureen.
Sorry, I'm not in town enough that I see this, but you said that, have you checked with you said the surrounding towns aren't having these problems, have you?
I have not seen any ruts in the fields in Tenino or in Yelm.
Well, I know you
And
haven't
Yelm has
seen-
fences up around their parks that I've seen.
Have we checked with have we checked
No, I
with their
haven't.
cities just to see maybe how they're preventing it?
They have police departments, I think that's part of it, and I'm not suggesting we get a police department.
So I guess I'm going to take the leadership of, I've got the census of what you guys want. Then maybe we need to have a study session with, and I when it gets to my report, I'm trying to set up a meeting with the new sheriff anyway, because I've not met with him yet.
Speaking to devil.
Speaking, that's who I've been trying to set an appointment with. But anyway, it's not something for discussion, I think, tonight, even though the sheriff just walked in. But my dialogue would be suggest that we have a study session maybe before a council meeting and have the sheriff and Mr. Brooks involved, because I think council needs to hear what Tammy and I hear on a daily or 2 days a week when we call specifically her and make these calls. And then I think there's more to the whole picture, and Tammy and I have tried to share that with you, that, am I saying this right? That just
We're not
having
doing
the,
nothing.
just having the sheriffs come out and go over and stop the kids isn't getting done, but you need to hear from them about what we're being told about, why they can't give them a ticket, why they can't impound their vehicle and everything like that. So I would say we need George. You brought it up last meeting. I didn't get the feel that the council wanted to pursue this. I got the feeling now. So are we okay to put the study session together maybe at 4 o'clock before one of our meetings, if I can get sheriff to be involved, but let him have some time to and him and I talk now that we got a new sheriff. And with our complaints, are we okay with that? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tammy and I will work with the sheriff department, and then we'll get a meeting set up where all council members can be present we'll probably do it at 4 o'clock study session before one of our meetings. It may not be the February one, but we'll try to get it done by February, March, if Mr. Sanders and I can get together a meeting, First of the year, everything's changing. We're only 9 days in, 9 days on the new job, right?
Oh, yeah.
10 days today. So he's been busy, and so we'll move on with that. Thank you, George.
You're welcome. So, Mr. Mayor, just in defense of our contract police and sheriff's department, they're not ignoring.
Oh, that's.
I've called several times and they've always been responsible.
Nope.
But they can't go chasing.
They are great.
chasing
Yes,
across
I think the sheriff's department is great. I really do.
I'm not saying at all that, they call, Tammy talks to them, they're getting dispatched. I was here just last week when Tammy called in, they were down there within 5 minutes. It's just a matter of when we don't need to waste time today. But I mean, when somebody drives away, they can't chase them. I mean, there's just so many things, so.
I understand. I just don't want anybody to walk away with the opinion that they're not trying to do something.
No, they have been. It's just, I want you guys to hear what we're being told, so we're all on the same page. Okay, thank you, George.
I have a comment that's not a report. I'm requesting that the mayor and the council draft some kind of a letter to Charlie, thanking him for the service that he provided while Ron was out due to the surgery. He really stepped up.
Yeah, I'll
Took over.
Okay.
And I think he should be recognized for that.
Okay, thank you. Maureen? Bill, you got anything besides our executive session?
Well, I did send you a memo about level 3 chargers for the parking lot.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at it in detail yet.
It's only 72 pages long.
I know, that's why I didn't get through it all.
I only wrote the first page and a half.
Okay.
So, but I was convinced that the state had spent every nickel they have, or we're gonna have on their I-5 corridor deal, and now that the Biden administration has put us in debt for another $1.5 trillion, I think there's money out there. So,
Okay.
So there may be some money, now we just need to find somebody competent to get it for us.
Okay.
I'm not.
Any questions for Bill? Okay. Mine was just I was hoping to get an appointment with a new sheriff, and then we've changed our Thurston County Mayor's meetings to the second Friday of every month rather than the first Friday, so I haven't had my Mayor's meeting yet this month. Tammy?
I don't have anything new to report. Since Linda brought this picture to me, I'll expand on this. This was not vandals. This was an accident into the fence, which he has paid for, and the city will be repairing now that the grass has been repaired. So, just to clear that up, that fence will be fixed. Because we were shorthanded, in Public Works, we are just now getting the meters read, which means Christmas lights will come down once the meters are read. So, we definitely know what needs to be done. We're just a couple steps behind where we need to be, but we'll get there. So, anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Okay. Any new business? Okay. So we're going to go into executive session for possible litigation. We'll be in executive session for 15 minutes.
Which puts us at 5:30.
24 till 5:39.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming. If you'd like to wait outside and come back in, you're free to do that. Although there won't be any discussion afterwards. Oh, yeah.
0600. Okay, yeah, I was wanting to get a point together. I know you're